That's right, Tatum and Jay. Car parts are still in the driveway of Jason Horton's home, and it was these parts and other suspicious activity that led to someone notifying police. The Sinaloa cartel uses very sophisticated techniques to smuggle drugs across the border, whether it's secret compartments in vehicles or hiding their drugs in bottles. And once those are detected, they move on to another technique, essentially staying one step ahead of law enforcement. When Rhonda Smith bought this restaurant nearly 4 years ago, seats were hard to come by. Now you can pretty much have the whole restaurant to yourself. Now take a look at this fence. The homeowner says he put up this fence to prevent cars from running off the road and into his home. As you can see, it's not too far from a couple of homes here in the neighborhood, and residents I talked to say it was a little nerve-wracking knowing that a manhunt was happening right in their backyard. The Telepain Clinic allows veterans to come to the VA hospital, walk into a room, and talk to a doctor hours away in Albuquerque. Presidio High School students in these classrooms are getting a head start on college. Due to the lack of staff, EMS might not be able to station ambulances at local high school football games when you fell into the ravine from a drop-off like this. Jay, this is the Sunday paper from Ojinaga. As you can see, El Chapo dominates the conversation. Today we spent the afternoon in Ojinaga talking about El Chapo and what this means for their community. It was a normal, warm Sunday afternoon in Ojinaga with kids dancing and people hanging around the plaza. Except for the shocking news of El Chapo's arrest. It was a surprise, but everything here is calm. Irma works at this newsstand in a popular square in Ojinaga. She says everybody couldn't wait to get their hands on the Sunday edition. A lot of people are talking about El Chapo, you know. Most residents we talk to say Ojinaga is safe, as you're more likely to see families congregating at church than violence. We don't participate in that too much, so it's not affecting us. Still, rumors say that things will heat up soon enough. These are her sons, she says, and they are saying it's not over, it's just getting started. Everyone says they will continue on with their lives, while hoping Mexico can move on from one of the most violent times in their history. While talking to people, we also found someone from Andrews with family in Ojinaga. He refused to talk on camera, fearing for his family, because he says Mexico will remain violent and someone from the cartel will just take El Chapo's place. Reporting in Presidio, Andrew Bovin, CBS 7 News. That's right, Big John's Barbecue has been a staple in Big Spring for over 50 years, but due to the recent road construction that was suspended for the winter, the owner isn't sure how much longer she can keep it open.
I haven't gotten paid in a long time.
It's lunchtime, and typically this kitchen would be hopping. But today it's fairly quiet, and there's just 2 tickets on the line.
Business pretty much just came to a standstill.
When construction on 3rd Street started last spring, the customers stopped coming. When Rhonda Smith bought this restaurant nearly 4 years ago, seats were hard to come by. Now you can pretty much have the whole restaurant to yourself.
Well, I'd hate to see them go. We hate to lose any kind of business in Big Spring.
People say the fall-off-the-bone ribs are to die for. Despite the good food, Rhonda says she's dipped into her life savings and will put her house on the market just to stay afloat.
Oh, this is my life. It's my life. I can't reach any deeper.
She has big plans for the restaurant, including a drive-thru. But as long as cones line the road, she's closer to closing up than having customers come through her door. Now, I did reach out to TxDOT officials. They understand that some businesses are hurting, but these repairs were necessary. They expect construction to begin in March and finish sometime this summer. However, they couldn't say exactly when this stretch of road in front of Big John's will be completed. Reporting in Big Spring, Andrew Bovin, CBS 7 News.
There's my fireplace tools.
If you met Anita Necht, you wouldn't think her home just burned down in a chimney fire.
But that's where the fire was coming out.
Throughout our interview, she was as jubilant as ever.
He said, "What's your emergency?" And I said, "My house is on fire." He said, "Did you say fire?" I said, "Fire!"
After all, no one was hurt.
I'm sad about it, but it's things, and we can replace what we need of it.
She wanted to show us photos of the immaculate house, but her phone and computer burned with the rest of her possessions.
Living room, my husband's office was right here.
2 years ago, her family fought off the Rock House fires for 12 hours, using buckets of water from the swimming pool.
And they were carrying buckets of water to where it was worse. The house was on fire, the garage was on fire, this house was on fire.
Tragedy has now struck twice this year for Anita. Her husband died in April, and now 2 days before Thanksgiving, the home they built is no more.
I'm glad he wasn't here to see this. It would have hurt him too much.
Thankfully, her son was spending the night. He noticed the house on fire and got her out. Now she plans to rebuild her home.
I'm going to rebuild. It won't be anything near this nice, but it'll be good enough for me.
A pine tree in the yard serves as her inspiration. It was completely burned in the Rock House fires and recently started sprouting needles again. It shows her that new beginnings can come from a pile of ashes.